Welcome in. DRF Sportsbook Daily is back after a little bit of a hiatus. Don't worry, folks. We're back after some time away. I was able to gather myself, not let my head get too big after being 52 and 41 after the first half of the MLB season. We're heading into the second half of the season. We're a few weeks late. It started around, I think, August 21st, August 20th, when games got back up again. It is now July 21st, July 20th, sometime in that range when games got going again. But we're back August 1st. We felt it was best to get going in August. We have three fantastic games on the slate for you all today. Three ways to make money. And then, of course, we finish it off with our featured free game of the day. Today, it's Boston against Houston, a fantastic showdown there happening down there in Houston. I think there's a lot of value on one of those two teams. I won't share which, but you might be able to figure it out as we go through today's slate of games. Breaking things down, we're going Mariners, Yankees. Mariners finished last time we talked. We were riding the red hot Mariners as they headed into the All-Star break. We're breaking them down as they head to the Bronx to take on the Yankees. From there, another red hot team pre All-Star break. Orioles, they're going down to Texas to take on the Rangers. And then the last game of our three MLB best bets for today, it's Royals, White Sox, and we have a certified gold star pick in that game for you all as well. And as a friendly reminder, head on over to us on Twitter at DRF Sportsbook. We're DRF Sportsbook now everywhere on social media. Find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. DRF Sportsbook. Never miss any of our exclusive betting data, trends, line movements, or any of our awesome odds, daily odds boosts, some of our exclusive lines that we have over at ia.drf.com. If you're in Iowa, we are Iowa's local sports book. We want to be your sports book for every single Iowan. We'll be at the Iowa State Fair. Come check us out. Come say hi at the Iowa State Fair. We'll love to see you guys there. So, with all that housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's get into what we all came here for, what I've been dying to share with you guys for the last 2 weeks. Mariners, Yankees. It's right. I've had this game circled on my calendar, ready to go, ready to break it down. The Mariners head to the Bronx. The Yankees again blew another late inning lead. I believe this is their third since July 9th that they've blown a lead in the ninth inning. They didn't have any before July 9th, and now they've had three since then, most in the majors. And if you faded the Yankees, I bet you'd be up a little bit of money if you faded them going into the ninth. However, they still are 3-1 over their last four. They're still a really good team. They're still one of the best teams in the league. Domingo Germán gets the start tonight for New York. This is going to be his third start as he's coming back from injury, and he's facing off against Seattle's Marco Gonzalez. If you guys haven't been in the news of the MLB, the Mariners have also acquired Luis Castillo from the Reds. Big time get. They had to give up a lot to get a lot, but that should bolster their rotation as they look to make a second half push, make it into the playoffs, and make potentially a World Series run. That isn't a team that is planning for their future. That's a team that thinks they have what it takes to win now. And this is a big time test against the league's best. They're the Yankees, that is, are the third most profitable team in the MLB behind the Orioles and behind the Mets. Over the last four for Seattle, though, they've struggled a little bit, going 1-3. And New York has beat up on the Mariners over the last couple of seasons, 11-3 straight up against the Mariners in the Bronx, 21-6 overall straight up over the last three seasons. So the Mariners have not had an opportunity to really take it to the Yankees, and I don't think that changes tonight. With Marco Gonzalez getting the start, he's 6-10 with a 3.66 ERA. However, over his last three, it's like a 5.2, 5.3, something like that, something above 5 over his last three starts. And he's facing off against Domingo Germán, who didn't have a great first start coming back from injury, kind of got lit up. He does have a really high ERA, an 8.21, but it came down drastically in his second start last time out. I think he only allowed 1 or 2 earned runs in his second start. So it looks like he's starting to get some feet under him. He's getting his sea legs back. And this third game, while I don't expect him to be lights out, he'll probably give up a few 2, 3, 4 runs. I don't think Marco Gonzalez and the Mariners can keep this potent Yankees lineup at bay because, I mean, this Yankees lineup is so deadly. They're 40-13 at home. They beat everyone up. It's got to be Yankees minus 175, and I don't really see another way around it. If you look at here, the line has moved a little bit in favor of the Mariners. The Yankees are now minus 170. Our power line likes this one at minus 139, so you're not getting a ton of value in the Yankees. You're paying a little bit of a price, but our simulator still thinks the Yankees win this one 5-4. This is also on the fact that I think Domingo Germán continues to get better as he's battling back from that injury. Keynote too, Marco Gonzalez is a left-handed pitcher. I always have to bring this up. Yankees are 23-8 this season against lefties. A really, really solid win percentage. They're plus units. The only downside is they don't hit as well at the plate. All of their major hitting statistics are down just a little bit. But with that being said, they're still 23-8. They don't have double-digit losses against left-handed pitchers. So something to keep an eye on as Marco Gonzalez gets the start for the Mariners. But the pick, regardless, Yankees minus 175. Moving from there, we're going Orioles, Rangers. Baltimore heads to Texas. Baltimore 4-3 over their last 7 as they are 500 on the year. They're going up against the Rangers, who have the opposite last 7 record. They're 3-4. Baltimore plus 145. The total is around 8, 7.5, depending on which book you are using at DRF Sportsbook. The total is 7.5 currently. Baltimore will be starting Spencer Watkins. Texas will be sending out John Gray. Baltimore's 23-18 this season as an underdog of plus 125 to plus 175. So they really thrive in this moment. Also worth noting that the Orioles are the most profitable team in the major leagues this season. Yes, they're 51-51. However, if you bet them to win every single game, they've won so much as large underdogs and as well as small favorites that you would be up the most money if you did that. Second is the Mets. Third is the Yankees, as we mentioned earlier. But Texas is 11-10 as favorites, so they do have a winning record, but nowhere near as good as Baltimore's 23-18 mark. Baltimore is profitable on the road, but not a good record, 22-31. And if we're picking the straight up winner, I'm looking more at their straight up record rather than if they're profitable or not. So Orioles struggle a bit on the road. That may have more to do with the fact that they struggled to start the season. They came on a really, really hot heading into the All-Star break, and now they're 4-3 over their last 7. And they are sending out Spencer Watkins, who's 3-1 with a 4.03 ERA. And over his last 3, that ERA drops to 2.65. Lean the under in this game just slightly. It is coming down a bit. It's 8 in some books, 7.5 at other books. And it seems like the public is starting to go on the under, and try and get that at around 8 because John Gray, he is 7-5 this season. He has a 3.62 ERA, but much like Spencer Watkins, over his last 3, he's been lights out with a 1.86 ERA. So these pitchers both have been really, 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 really solid over their last 3 games. As in total season, their ERA is still good, just nowhere near as good as it's been over the last 3. And I think that continues tonight, as this might become a pitcher's duel, and whoever can go deepest into the game, not get beat up too much, go through the lineup 2-3 times, that might be the one that wins. Baltimore's 3-0 against Texas this season as well. They swept the series over at Camden Yards earlier this year, but Texas is 7-6 straight up against Baltimore at home over the last 3 seasons. So give me the Rangers minus 155 in this game. It's mainly because I prefer Gray and his 1.86 ERA over Spencer Watkins as of late. I think Gray's been a little bit more lights out. Gray's been a little bit better. And coming back home, I think the Rangers are going to want to avenge that earlier season sweep as they host the Orioles. And at minus 155, you're not paying too much of a price. Our game simulator thinks it's around a 4-4 game, and our power line makes it minus 143. So pretty much right on the head with the Rangers at minus 155. And our third and final MLB best bet for today, Royals White Sox. This is a certified gold star pick. You got to be wondering, which side is a certified gold star pick? Because I've gone on this daily live stream a few times, pounding my chest about how I'm going to fade the White Sox until Tony La Russa gets fired. These White Sox, they haven't been good this season. They were a World Series favorite preseason and early season. They got off to a bad start. They've been up and down all year. They've not been dominant. They've only swept 4 series this year. They currently are 51-50. They've been hovering around that 500 mark. This is a team that should be dominant. I mean, look at this lineup. Look at some of these pitchers. They're really, really solid. And yet, for some reason, they're 51-50. They're just minus 155, minus 160, depending on the book, against a bad Royals team. What's happening? How is this possible? And not to mention, they're 2-1 in Chicago this season. The Royals have a winning record in Chicago. They're 4-4 against each other this season. And this is a team of the White Sox, if they are who we thought they were, they should be beating up on the Royals, but instead they struggle against them. But with all that being said, I'm going White Sox minus 160, and it's the certified gold star pick, folks. For some reason, our simulators, our power lines are loving the White Sox against the Orioles tonight, against the Royals tonight. Power line makes this minus 202, which is insane to me, but I got to follow the numbers. The White Sox also, according to our game simulator, win this by 2 runs. What? Somehow, some way, KC will be sending out Brad Keller, who's 5-11 this season. This might be the reason. He's 5-11 this season with a 4.35 ERA. His record leaves a lot to be desired, but that's also because he lacks run support. The Royals only score 3.9 runs on average per game, and they allow 5.1. So mainly his ERA is 4.35. Not great, not terrible. I'd want it better out of a starter. He's going up against Michael Kopechek. I think I'm mispronouncing that name. He's 4-6 with a 3.16 ERA. Over his last 3, though, that's down to a 2.3 ERA. So Kopechek, much like Gray, much like Watkins that we talked about last game, he's been really red hot over his last 3. And I think that continues tonight against a lackluster Royals offense. In Chicago, the Royals do have the upper hand. They're 2-1 in Chicago this season against the White Sox. But I'm going Chicago minus 155, minus 160, depending on where you find it, mainly because I don't think this Royals offense is going to be able to keep pace with the White Sox offense. Keller's good, not great. Chicago is 5-3 over their last 7. They're hitting 264, which is 0.02 better than their season average. So over the last 7, their offense has been coming alive, and they get on base 42% of the time. 0.419 is their on base percentage. So this offense, I'd like to think they're starting to find their rhythm here in the second half of the season. I'm not holding my breath too much, but this is a game if you want to make a push in the second half, you got to win. I think I would hope Tony La Russa and the White Sox know that. So give me Chicago minus 160 all day, every day. Loving the Gold Star, certified Gold Star best bet there. And if you're not already, follow us on Twitter at DRF Sportsbook. That's our handle everywhere now, at DRF Sportsbook. All one word. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, everything. We're DRF Sportsbook. You'll never miss any of our best bets, our expert insights, our betting angles, trends, some of our industry-leading data, all on drf.com/sports. We're tweeting about it. We're talking about it. Anywhere you can follow us, please do like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're in Iowa, we're Iowa's local sportsbook, folks. We're giving you daily odds boost focused on Iowa teams. We're giving you specials. We're giving you promos, everything revolving around Iowa sports and the teams that matter to Iowans. So check us out on the App Store, Apple App Store. We're on the Google Play Store. We also can be found on your desktop. Just type in, or on your mobile phone if you prefer that way, ia.drf.com. And now, with all that, let's break down today's featured free game of the day. If you head to drf.com/sports, as you can see right there in the lower third, and you click on free game of the day at the top of the page, you'll get all of this betting insights and information for free. It'll make your Monday profitable, folks. The Red Sox, they're heading down to Houston to take on the Astros. Boston is 2-1 against Houston this season. But at home over the last 3 seasons, Houston holds a 12-10 straight up record against the Red Sox. And the Red Sox also come into this one limping just a little bit. They came out of the All-Star break, I think, on like a 5-game win streak, something like that. Seemed to be red hot. Another 3-4 over their last 7. They're not looking too hot, and they're sending out Nathan Eovaldi to start, who, hasn't been terrible this season. Has a 4.32 ERA, is 4-3. But here's the kicker: over his last 3, he has a 10.38 ERA. Absolutely abysmal. He's going up against Luis Garcia, who's 8-6 with a 3.71 ERA, and he's been kind of the mainstay 3-something all season with his ERA. So we're not breaking name. I mean, this game seems very, very cut and dry to me. The Red Sox seem to be slumping. I think Houston's 4-3 or something like that over their last 7. However, over their last 4, Houston's won 4 of their last 6. No, excuse me. They've won 3 of their last 4. This is game 4 of 6 of a homestand for the Astros. They've really played well against the Red Sox. There's no Rafael Devers for Boston. I think Boston needs some type of pop in their bat to keep up with Houston. The only thing Boston has that's better than the Astros is their average. But if you throw that out of the way, I mean, their on-base percentage is the same. And Houston's able to slug it a little bit better than Boston when they're getting players on at the same clip. Yeah, the Houston Astros are able to bring them around more often. Granted, they score the same amount of runs, but the kicker is the Red Sox pitching just hasn't been able to stay consistent throughout the season. Red Sox score 4.5 runs per game, but they allow 4.7 runs per game, as you see right there in the middle of your screen. Meanwhile, the Astros, they also score 4.5 runs per game, but they only allow 3.4, one of the best clips in the majors. And so while their run support may not be as strong, they for sure are able to shut you down with the pitchers. And I think that's going to come up big time in tonight's game, where Nathan Eovaldi's getting the start, who has a 10+ ERA over his last 3 starts, where Luis Garcia is coming in with a 3.71, 3, I think he's 3.12 over his last 3. So he's not going to allow a lot of runs. Houston also at home this season has been really, really solid. They're able to hit the long ball. They're able to hit for average, hit for slugging. And in all home games, they're 33-15 so far this season straight up. And as a favorite of -175 to -250, they're 16-9. As a -175 to -250 home favorite, they're 12-5. So they tend to play very, very well at home so far this season. Our power line makes it more like -144. So you got to eat a couple bucks there, according to our power line. But our game simulator likes Houston to win this game 4-3. And I think it's going to all come down to this pitching matchup. Houston's going to jump all over Eovaldi early in this one. Luis Garcia will hold steady, maybe allow 2, 3, 4 runs, but nothing too serious. Houston will probably jump out to an early 6-run first 3 innings, something crazy. I just don't see Nathan Eovaldi bouncing back against a potent Houston lineup. So give me Houston -175 for today's featured free game of the day. I'm not thinking twice about this. It's not a certified gold star pick, but I'm feeling good, as I don't think the Red Sox are fully in the zone. I think they're slumping, and I think their slump continues. I don't think it ends tonight. I don't think it ends at 8:10 p.m. at first pitch when this game goes off. So give me Astros -175. I'm feeling really good about that one. So that's our breakdown of today's featured free game of the day. You can find all that information at drf.com/sports. Click the game of the day tab up in the top of the page, and you can find all of that information, including a replay of this video and all the data that applies to that game. That's going to make your Monday, almost a Tuesday, your Monday profitable. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we get up on out of here, as always, we got to recap what our best bets were for today. The first half of the season, we're sitting at a 50-41 record. Some of those were NBA picks. Some of those were Premier Lacrosse League picks, but for a majority of them, they are our MLB picks. Last time out, we went 4-0, which was July 15th. We went 4-0 on that Friday, and we're looking to continue that. 8-0 July 14th and 15th. We were red hot. So Yankees, Mariners, we're going Yankees minus 175 in that one. The Bronx Bombers are lethal at home, and they're going to bounce back after blowing a 9th inning lead. Rangers against the Orioles. I love the Orioles this season. They're the most profitable team in the MLB. They're 51-51. They're looking solid, but I think the Rangers avenge their early season sweep up there at Camden. They're going to come out. I think they have the better pitcher. While this game, you might want to lean the under, as both pitchers have been red hot over their last 3 games. White Sox against the Royals. White Sox minus 160 against the Royals. I've been pounding my chest against fading Tony La Russa. I don't like the White Sox. I think they should be so much better than they are. But with that being said, there's no way that this Royals offense can keep pace with this White Sox offense, especially when they're starting a pitcher in Brad Keller, who has a 4.35 ERA. I think the White Sox get to him, push a couple runs across, and I don't think the Royals have the pop in their bat to keep up with Chicago. And that same sentiment heads into Astros Red Sox. Astros, they have a slightly worse average than the Red Sox, but their on-base percentage is the same, and their slugging percentage is better than Boston. Pair that with the fact that they have 40-plus more home runs than Boston. They're at home. If you sense a trend here, we're going with all the home favorites today. Astros at home against Red Sox last 3 seasons are 12-10. And Luis Garcia with a 3.71, the constant 3-something ERA he's had all season. Going up against Nathan Eovaldi, who has a 10.38 ERA over his last 3. I think the Astros are going to push too many runs across. I think the slumping Red Sox continue their slump and won't be able to keep pace with Houston tonight in our featured free game of the day. So thank you so much for tuning in. One more reminder, follow us everywhere at DRF Sportsbook. You see it right there. Follow us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, everything. We're now DRF Sportsbook. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. After a long hiatus, we'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, 11 a.m.-ish. Wherever you're watching today, we'll be there again tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. May it be profitable. May we win some money. See you Tuesday, same time, same place. See ya.